to the world affects it. So think love, think peace, think harmony. A very good evening to all of you. With this soft thought, I Vibhuti Kochal, student of SY B.Ed from MAEER's MIT St. Dnyaneshwar B.Ed College, Alandi, Pune, welcome all participants, eminent guests, resource person of the day, respected staff of MIT SD B.Ed for today's second day session of national level lecture series on combating radicalization. I, Ms. Vibhuti Kochal, on behalf of Myers MIT St. Dnyaneshwar B.Ed College, welcome our today's resource person, Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh, Faculty of Liberal Arts, Ajinka D.Y. Patil University, Pune, for today's session of National Level Lecture Series on combating radicalization under Project Aurora. Welcome, sir. I welcome additional DIGs and police officers from various places who has joined this lecture series. I welcome our eminent principal of MIT SDBEd and convener of national level lecture series on combating radicalization, our principal, respected Dr. Surendra Helkal sir, and our coordinator, Professor Sanjay Sindhu sir. I warmly welcome the participants from various sections as Department of Defense and Strategic Studies from Savitri Bai Phule University Pune and Department of Dr. Baba Sahab Ambedkar Studies Savitri Bai Phule University Pune. And lastly but not least, I welcome all the student teachers from MIT SDBEd Alandi, Pune and all other participants. I would like to request our principal sir, so say few words and welcome all our guests again. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Vibhuti ma'am. Very good evening to one and all present over here on this online MS Team platform. I'm very glad to see number of the participants from various sector present there for this national level lecture series on combating radicalism. On behalf of Savitribai Phule Pune University Pune and MITES MIT Sant Dnyaneshwar B.Ed College Pune, I welcome Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh sir, Faculty School of Liberal Arts, Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University Pune. He is very near and dear friend of mine. A very talented personality, an actor and good singer. I also welcome additional DIGs and all the eminent police officers who are joining for this online lecture series. I welcome all the participants, including student teacher, for this lecture series. This lecture series is organized under Aurora project. This project is the collaboration of 6 countries, India, Nepal, Czech Republic, Ireland, Romania, and Spain. India's 4 universities has participated in this project. There are 3 subjects in this project: inclusive education, citizenship, and combating radicalism. The subject combating radicalism is assigned to MITES MIT Sant Dnyaneshwar B.Ed College Pune. As you know, MITES MIT is one of the biggest organization of India who is working for world peace and combating radicalism. Today is the second session of lecture series. Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh is going to conduct this second session, and the topic of session is limits of radicalism and human rights. So once again, I welcome all of you on this online national level lecture series on combating radicalism. Thank you so much.
We do not need guns and bombs to bring peace. We need love and compassion. Believing in this thought of love, I would like to request our Professor Dr. Vikas Sundar sir kindly play the World Peace Prayer.
नमो दीयाद्या वेद प्रतिपा जय जय स्वसंवेद्या आत्मरूपा देवा तूति गणेषु सकलार्थमतिप्रकाश म्हणे निवृत्तिदासु अवधारी गोदी गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णू गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
We all are student of Savitribai Phule University, Pune. So we will start our today's session with this beautiful prayer of Savitribai Phule University, Pune. I would like to request I would like to request our professor Dr. Vikas Tup Sundar sir kindly play the Savitribai Phule University prayer. Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request our Professor Dr. Vikas Sundar sir kindly introduce our today's resource person, Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh sir. Over to you, sir. Vikas.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Good evening and hearty welcome to the second day of the national level lecture series on the topic combating radicalism. On behalf of MAEER MIT Saint Dnyaneshwar B.Ed College, Alandi, Devachi, I, Dr. Vikas Sundar, would like to give a hearty welcome to today's honorable guest speaker, Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh sir. Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh is an associate professor at Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University School of Liberal Art, Pune. Sir's educational qualification is PhD in Education, MPhil in Education, Master of Education and SET in Education, Bachelor of Arts in English and History subject, Master of Arts in English, History and Sociology subjects, and Diploma of School Management. Sir has done different offline certificate courses such as CRCC, it means Certificate Course of Child Counseling, CCRTI, Certificate Course of Right to Information, and CCM, that is Content Cum Methodology in subject of History. Sir also done various online certificate courses such as Work-Based Learning Teacher Training, REACT to Film Teacher Training, Study and Examination Technique, Method of Teaching English, Introduction to Social Media in Education, Spiritual Innovation in Higher Education, Time Management, How to Save Life. Currently, Sir is pursuing PGDHE, that is Postgraduate Diploma in Higher Education, and MBA in Master of Business Administration in HR. Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh sir profile is too long. I am reading this only due to time bind. We have received a very eminent speaker for this lecture series on second day for the topic of limits of radicalization, human right. Sir, once again, hearty welcome to you. Thank you very much. Now I request Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh sir to grace this session. Over to you, Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for the lovely introduction. Good evening, Honorable Dr. Surendra Herkal, and the coordinator for this particular event, that is Sanjay Shinde sir, and rest of the team members. You have provided me this good opportunity to communicate with the specific series based on the radicalization. Thank you so much, and I request everyone, please be attentive in this particular session, and whatever the responses required in this particular sessions I am expecting from you. Quickly, I'm sharing my screen. Just inform me, sir, is it visible or not?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
नाही मी लय अर्जंट मीटिंग आहे सर.
Just a minute. Now the topic given to me, that is radicalization, limits of radicalization and human rights. We are going to talk about this particular topic. It's a need of time. In a present condition, many countries facing this particular issue, and the terminology is utilized in politics or in sociology and in the other subjects also having different context. When we are talking about the radicalization, when we are talking about the terrorism, when we are talking about the extremist approaches. Before starting the session, just I wanted to highlight what are the major learning outcomes from this particular session. Means at the end of this session, the participants will be explain the concept of radicalization. They will be described the elements and basic areas of radicalization. After that, we will try to understand the procedure of radicalization, and at the end of this particular session, hopefully the participants will explain the procedure of radicalization. Even at the end of this particular session, the participants will be able to discuss the limits of radicalization and interpret the human rights. Basically, this particular session is organized by the education department, so I have added 2 more points in that, which is basically focusing on the teacher's point of view.
So in that, at the end of this particular session, the teacher trainees will be identify the warning signs of the someone is being radicalized. Basically, the students also be doing such kind of activities. So how they can recognize them, that is one of the major concern highlighted in this particular presentation. And at the end, the participants will be deliberate the prevention for radicalization with reference to human rights. Now, this is one kind of, we can say, the outcomes reflected in front of you. As per that, the outline in front of you. In this particular session, we will try to cover the meaning and definitions of radicalizations. I heard from your faculties that is yesterday. The eminent
22 by Swaraj.
eminent it is
Kindly,
please request.
kindly keep your mic on mute, other participants, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This is the outline for today's session. That yesterday, I think one eminent speaker talked about the concept of radicalizations along with the other concepts also highlighted by him. I will just give the light on that particular concept, that is radicalization, meaning and what is exactly the concept behind this particular idea. Then we will going to talk about the elements that is related to radicalization. That is also we will try to understand. And most important factor, which is the we can say it is a base to the core of our session, that is limits, how the procedure of radicalization happens. Means what are the different factors behind that the people become radicalist, and what kind of, we can say, the procedure followed by that particular person to be radicalist, that we are going to highlight in this particular session. Then we will talk about the basic areas of radicalization. Basically, when we are talking about the radicalization, people are mixing the different concepts, that is extremist approach is there, or we can say terrorism is there, and radicalization. Somewhere it is used synonymously, but slight line between these concepts. That is also we'll try to understand what is exactly mean, what is the basic ideas behind these three concepts. So we have to remember all that aspects. So basic areas of radicalizations, in that it is generally focused that we will going to talk, and a specific, not one area, that is a religion, that highlighting radicalization more, but along with that many areas are there in that the radicalization concept is utilized. And next part, that is the core of our today's session, that is a limit of the radicalizations. Basically, when we are talking about the limits, we will giving the references of the human rights also. So along with that, I have highlighted the human rights, which is given by the, universally accepted by rights, universally accepted by all the rights are there. But in that some majors are there, that is we will correlate with the radicalization, but I have given the uh, entire list, so at least you can you will acquaint with that specific rights, that also we will highlight in this particular session. And the most important factor as a teacher's point of view, as a being a teacher in future, so what are the warning signs to teachers if someone or the students is being radicalized in their classrooms or in the school system or even their surrounding also, they can help them if they will identify this particular we can say idea related to their students. Now, this is one of the concern we will highlight here. And the last part of our session will be radicalization and the prevention. Prevention means what kind of preventions we can take with a reference to human rights we will highlight in today's session. Hope it is very clear to all that this is the outline for our today's session. From the meaning, means from the concept, up to how we can take the prevention related to this particular concept that we will highlight here. Before going on the next, we can say slide, I just wanted to know the responses from your sides. Now, might be in yesterday's session, the eminent speaker talked about the terrorism or the extremist approach is there or radicalization is there. Can you give me some references related to that, or can you give me some examples, or what is exactly mean by terrorism? What is exactly mean by the extremist approach, and what is mean by the radicalism is? Will you tell me something? Just I wanted your responses. Yes. Or may I take some names? Am I audible to all?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So
Audible, sir.
Oh, yeah. Your voice is not audible to me. What is mean by the radicalization? Or what is mean by the extremist approach?
Can I try, sir?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Radicalization, I would say, is a change that is brought about in the society,
Okay.
uh, be it in the negative or the positive way.
Okay.
And
Good.
extremists generally take a violent, I mean, they have got a violent touch to bring about the change.
Okay. Okay.
So,
And what is terrorism?
terrorism is extreme extremists, I would say. They, their thought lies only in taking over or putting their views in a very forceful manner,
Very
which
good.
causes harm to the society and mankind in general, like be it property, be it mentally also, they affect the humans. Like
Exactly.
it takes
Exactly.
a very bad turn.
Yes. Thank you so much, Anita ma'am.
Thank you,
As
sir.
you have clarified these three concepts in very well manners. Now, when we are talking about the extremist, basically they are very strong. They wanted to reform the society, might be that is positive or negative. Their way is violence, violent. So that is one of the major concern is there. Some beliefs behind their actions, political beliefs, social beliefs, religious belief, or any other kind of belief behind their actions. So they are the extremist, but their way is slightly different. When we are talking about the terrorism, as you mentioned, it is most violent aspects that ruin all the, we can say the government rules and regulation, authentic aspects, legal laws also disturb, or we can say not accepted by them, and they destroyed everything, destroyed human values, that is a psychological, that is a mental, that is a ethical, no any kind of, we can say the uh, we can say aspect they are thinking about. Physical destruction is also um, exposed by them, or we can say it is showcased by them uh, to establish their relation, or we can say to showcase their whatever that power. So this is one kind of aspect, is the most violent aspect, that is the terrorism. So when we are talking about the radicalization, it is basically process oriented. Now this term is when we are talking about in grammar, it is a noun. So it talks about the procedure, how that things happens. Means terrorism is an extreme level, and radicalization is the beginning of that, and middle, that is an extremist approach is there. So three categories we have to remember. We don't have to mix all that categories. And basically, people having the belief that is only the one element that is affecting on radicalization, that is religion. But it is more than that. So in today's session, we will try to understand what is exactly mean by the radicalization, and whatever the outline we frame for this particular session, that is also we will execute in this session. So quickly, I will highlight all that aspects. Hope it is visible. Now in front of you, the meaning reflected, three meanings are there. These three meanings, you just read it carefully. You will be getting all the details about this particular concept. We will try to understand what is exactly meant by the radicalization. Now, first part, when we are talking about the first meaning, that is the action or a process of making someone become more radical in their political and religious belief. Now, when we classify this particular meaning, I will classify this, you come to know what are the different aspects included in this particular concept. Now you can see that is the action or a process of making someone. Now the action or process, in that sense, this is action oriented, this is process only oriented. Radicalization is basically focusing on the procedure, means how one person become a radical, how one person become a extremist, how that person become a terrorist. So all that things means these are the extreme levels, but behind that one concept, that is a radicalization. So it is totally based on the action. It is totally based on the process of making someone in that sense, whatever the beliefs they have. Now at extreme level, they are doing that things. Extreme in that sense, intensity is too much. It is not that much thinking about others, we can say values, or the human values are there. All that things does not having the thought by that particular radicalist. And behind their action, behind their, we can say whatever the treatment, behind their behavior, some political and religious beliefs are there. These are the two areas highlighted in this particular meaning. Political also beliefs, because of the people come together and they are destroying to other communities or other political parties. And the second part highlighted in this meaning, that is a religious belief. As we know, different communities India has, and we are a democratic country and we united by our because of our constitution. Now, this is one of the major concern, but every religion having the freedom to worship their god, whatever the goddesses are there, they can they are having their own individual beliefs. They are having their own means they are worshipping their, we can say, specific almighties. So these things are given by the constitution. This is the liberty provided by Indian constitution, or we can say democratical one of the provision made by constitution. So religious beliefs also we have, and all that beliefs we have to be follow under the constitution. This is one of the thing we have to be remember. Now in first meaning, we have to remember radicalization is based on the procedure. It is action oriented. Next one, that is it is making someone, in that sense the person might be become an extremist, or that person might be become the terrorist. That is also second part in that. The third part reflected in this meaning, that is radical or extreme kind of beliefs are there. That is a very strong beliefs that that individual has. So three aspect highlighted in this meaning. In the second one, that is a radicalization of the intelligentsia lead to the revolution. Now, most of the time when we are saying the extremist in Indian history, we can see the historical movements are there. We can say freedom fighters are there. They also done a revolution to get a freedom for our country. That approach is very different, which is based on the people living here. When we are talking about the radicalization, basically at intellectual level or at a cognitive level, many things happening. Now, when we are talking about a terrorist approach, they are more focused on the actions. They are more focused on the destruction. Here, the journey start from here. At intellectual level, at cognitive level, people are thinking. That revolution, at according to them, this is the revolution or a rebel, or we can say reformation. But if it is ruin the human values, we can't say that is a good aspect, good change. That is a negative change. So here also we have to remember intelligent aspect is highlighted in radicalization. And here the meaning reflected, that is a revolution also happened because of the radicalization. Somewhere revolution, somewhere reformation, somewhere we can say revolution by one side, but other side that is a destruction. So that is also highlighted in this particular concept. Then the third part here, we will going to talk about the action or a process of a cause someone, in that sense, making someone and cause someone to adopt radical positions on political and social issues. When we are talking about the first meaning and the last meaning, somewhere the similarities are there. Only in the last one, they have reflected some causes behind their actions. What are that causes? Causes are nothing but the religious belief, political beliefs, social beliefs, or any social event incidents are there, or we can say whatever the happening into the society that become the cause to be the radical person. Now, these are the three concepts, or we can say three meanings reflecting the same thing. I will just sum up all that meanings. One is it is action oriented. In that sense, the procedure included in that, it is making someone might be extremist or the terrorist. Then the next one, extreme kind of beliefs that individual has. And according to that, everything is going on. This is one kind of a cognitive aspect. At cognitive level, the people are thinking about because belief is the part of thought, belief is the part of their faith, belief is the part of their emotions. It is related to affective also. So all that things included in that, and certain causes behind the person who become the radicalist. So that causes also we have to remember, because nobody wanted to be the terrorist. Somewhere the reasons behind that, and that reasons prominently given by other people, or we can say the leaders, might be social leaders, might be political leaders, might be religious leaders, or any impact of any book or a script. So these things are behind the radicalizations. So through this particular, we can say slide, we can understand this is very process oriented. Now we will try to understand what is the definition of radicalization. Now two definitions reflected in front of you. Radicalization refers to the gradual social process into extremism and is often applied to explain changes in ideas or behavior. Now, when we classify this particular definition, we come to know 2-3 major characteristics of radicalization. Most important factor, gradual social process. Again here, as we talked in the meaning, that is, it is a process oriented. The gradual change is there. It is not happen in one day. Some background is there. The terrorist attack, it is one of the example. It not happen at one day. Somewhere the procedure happening behind that. Many, we can say many years they are working on that. They are having some thought behind that and they are planning accordingly. So it is a gradual procedure, and society also some gradual procedure is there. Which whatever the reformations we want into the society, if any, we can say the traditions are there that is not good for the human beings or that ruin the human values. That time also some reformers wanted to change into the society. They wanted to do reformation into the society. So whatever the radicalization is there, it is gradually happening. It is a procedure into extremism. Extremism that is very intense, very strong. That kind of approach is there, and we have to be think about that, and is often applied to explain changes in ideas or behavior. Ideas or behavior in that sense, action oriented. Ideas are a rough thought. After the thought concrete that transferred into the behavior or into the action. So if any person doing radicalist actions, that time we are just looking the actions, but behind that action, some thought process is there. And behind that thought process, some ideas are there. That ideas might be based on the ideologies, that ideas might be based on the beliefs, that ideas based on the ethics that learned by that particular person from a specific community. So here we have to remember the same thing reflected in definitions. It is a process oriented. It is an extreme level of the we can say behavior, and whatever the actions we are doing, behind that action some ideas are there. So that we have to remember here, and that things for the change. The second definition reflecting other aspect. Radicalization as a concept is not absolute, but relative and independent on the context in which it takes place. Now, in different situations, for example, when we are thinking about the reformers of India, some extremists are there. They wanted a freedom, but their way is slightly different. And moderates are there in our India. Their way is also different. The goal of both the parties are the same, but their actions are slightly different. So in different context, we have to be think about the radicalization. We cannot say it is in one context only the that term is giving a meaning to us. So as per the situation, as per the provisions, as per the reasons, the radicalization is working. It is not absolute, it is a concrete, it is giving the result to the society, changes happening because of the radicalization. And that changes somewhere positive, somewhere the negatives also. So here we have to be remember this is absolute, this is not absolute, sorry, this is not absolute concept, it is very concrete concept. And as per the context, the meaning of the radicalization it changes. For example, now as we are talking about radicalization in religion, so the context is different. The religious theories are there, religious ideologies are there. When we are talking about the radicalization in politics, the political theories are there, the political background is there. Radicalization in economics, so that the market of the economics that we have to be think, and according to that the changes happening. Nowadays that is the war is begin. Now Ukraine is there and Russia and Rus is there. You can see that changes. The business, or we can say the financial market is going up and down. These changes happen because of some reasons. Now we cannot attach this particular concept to that, but we have to remember when certain things going that beyond the limits or crossing the limits, that time some changes happening. That changes might be negative, that changes might be positive. So as per the context, the radicalization into the economical market, that is also one of the we can say element of the radicalization. So as per context, the terminology will be reflecting the meaning. So these are the two definitions. In that definitions, first thing we have to remember, radicalization is nothing but the gradual change into the society. That change because of the extreme views, extreme beliefs, and that beliefs transfer into the behavior. These three aspects highlighted in first definition. And the second one, it is not absolute. It is very concrete. And next part, fifth one, that is, it is depends on the context. In which context the people become a radicalist. So these are the 5 elements highlighted in this particular definition. Now the elements we are going to talk here. Now, at the beginning of the particular session, I ask you that is what is the difference between radicalization, what is the difference between extremist or terrorism. Now, these are the three major concepts. Now, when we are talking about the radicalization, three concepts included in that, but their intensity is very different. As in definition, we talked the gradual social changes there. In first element, if anything happen in radicalization, it has certain kind of a history, background or a base. Now it is called as a, in Marathi we are saying Mulagami Karan. Mulagami Karan in that sense, Kattarata in Hindi. In that sense, some base behind that, some foundation behind that, and from that foundation, the radicalization started. Now you can see the history of any religion, history of any society, history of any politics. The changes not happen at that day only. It happens from the background. Whatever the situation is there, whatever the history is there, that from that history they wanted to change themselves. If someone is a slave in that particular history or the generation facing the problem of slavery, no, it is one kind of a, it is not a human right. It should not, that person should not be slave nowadays, according to human rights. But that person is facing the problem of slavery. Some background behind that we have to be find out. And when that intense level of that owner or the we can say master of that particular slave, that person, the slave degraded because of that treatment, and one day that person rebel. And it is not happen the day of the battle, it happened because of certain kind of a background is there. In radicalization also such kind of things involved, right? So if somebody is doing the crime, so that crime, whatever the day that person did a crime, we are just observing that, but behind that we have to check the history of that particular fellow. If criminal background is there, we have to try to understand what is exactly the criminal background of that person, or we can say not criminal background, but at least the background because of that person did such kind of a works. So it is a gradual procedure. Okay, it is not a one-day task. Okay, individual that involves individuals. It is impact of that particular ideology, impact of that particular leader, and because of that person involved in that. For example, religious, we can say the preachings. I am saying not a good preaching, whatever the misinterpretation of religions. I am talking about that misinterpretation of religion or misinterpretation of the political theories. If that is done by the leaders and people are influenced because of that, they involved in that activities. And somewhere the radicalization process started in that. The second part, that is the extremist belief system that sets the stage. Now, when it happened, when whatever the political views, whatever the social views are there, beliefs are there, faiths are there, ethics are there, all that background to be the extremist, to be the radicalist. And when we are, because that influence on that person's mind, from the one generation to other generation, from one society to we can say the next level of that society, all that things because of certain beliefs, because of some ideology, because of some philosophies. So that beliefs become stronger and stronger, and that giving the impact on that person's mind, and because of that person become the radicalist, right? So gradual procedure involve the individuals in that they believe behind their actions, and that belief is very strong, very intense, very extreme, and because of that person come to the next stage, that is a violence. Violence is basically, as that Anita ma'am told me, that is a terrorism. It is one of means most violent stage we can see. Destruction is there, means ruin human values or physical destruction is there. All that things which is not based on the ethics, which is not based on the moral, which is not based on the values, whatever the human values are, that ruin all the human values. And their intentions might be, according to their views, might be good, but if that is giving the impact on rest of the society, we can't say that is a positive progress. It is a negative one. So violence is the extreme stage of the radicalization. It is happening. Okay, this is a procedure that we have to be follow. Hope it is very clear to you. Now, how the radicalization, we can say the method, or we can say the procedure, stages in radicalization, how the person involved in this particular radicalization or become the radicalist. Now, as I mentioned you, radicalization is not only related to religion, only not religious matters that comes under the umbrella of radicalization. some political affairs, some economical affairs, some social, some religious, some protest. Some were based on the facts and some were superficial. Now, as many people are following politics, many people studying economics, many people aware about the society, many people believing on religious, we can say the scripts, and somewhere the reformation, that is a protest against all these particular whatever the issues are there, society grievances are there, all that included in that. Now all that matters are there somewhere, that matters having a factual base, practical base, which is based on the truth. Means somebody is suffering by political parties, one party, other party, opposite party, cross conflict is there. And to reach their goal, somewhere they are following a wrong ways, which is not based on the ethics, which is not based on the moral, and even it is legally not accepted ways. Now, when we are talking about the terrorist not following legal ways, illegal activities are there basically involved in that. Somewhere in radicalization, somewhere legal provisions made by the constitution. At a certain level, you can protest. The way of your protest might be moderate, or we can say might be not harmful to others. So that way you can follow to protest about anything, any problem. So here, when we are talking about the political parties, two parties are there. For their goals, they are following unethical ways, illegal ways. Their ways might be based on facts, but they are using that things. And that leaders, or we can say that party, influence other people and other people involved in that. In last stage, I just highlight one word here, that is youth, basically attracted toward these aspects. Political leaders, political parties, their views are there, agendas are there. They are following that thing. Somewhere that agenda is also superficial. Somewhere that agenda is baseless. They are not studying anything about the surrounding, about the nation, about the social needs, about the state, we can say requirements, but they are giving superficial, and people believing on that, and they are following that parties. And to get the goal, or we can say to commit, fulfill the goal of that political party, they are using different kinds of radicalization, different kinds of action, which is extreme actions, which is not accepted by legally. Okay, so that aspect we have to remember here. The second part, economical aspect, economical radicalization is there. Market conditions, different medical, somewhere the artificial. Now in COVID situations, everyone, we can say experience that. Sometimes we are not able to get the, we can say required grocery also. That time some artificial, we can say shortage made by the people. Somewhere that is a natural. So that things also the part of this particular things to get benefit for individual. They have their own beliefs how to be a, we can say the richer and richer in this particular situation. Though that is not a one kind of a, we can say good way, but they followed that economical. Even at a higher level, multinational national companies are there. They are creating such kind of artificial shortage to them. So that aspects also one kind of superficial, or we can say based on the based on the facts. Then the social radicalization is there. Now we know that is many stratifications, or we can say categories in society, based on religion, based on communities, based on caste and creeds. All that factors are there somewhere to, and every individual from that particular community belongs to that specific religion, belong to that specific caste. They are having their own ideology of that particular committee, of that particular caste, of that particular religion. Ideologies, faith, beliefs, worships are theirs. Everything they are following as per their social conditions. And if some other communities are, we can say pointing that aspects, or we can say negatively and saying that time one group will oppose to other group. And the way to oppose to each other, that is at extreme level. Okay, so that aspects also can be the part of radicalization. The next part we have to remember, that is religious aspects. As we know that there's a terrorist movement are there. I will not take the name here, but as we know, one community is opposed to other communities, one nation opposed to other nation based on the religious matters. So somewhere these actions are not on the basis of human values. So that is also one kind of a part, and that giving the impact to the individual. Religious beliefs, religious trusts, misbeliefs and misinterpretation of the religions, mislead by the religious leaders to the society or the youth. And because of that, youth involved in that and they become the radicalist. Okay, so that is also one of the parts. Somewhere superficial, we can say wishes given to them. They wanted to fulfill their desires. That superficial desires are there. Somewhere factual desires are there. They wanted to complete, they wanted to fulfill their wants. And accordingly, the youth is attracted toward that particular actions given by misleaders, or we can say the leaders are not good in that religion. And protest, that is somewhere the reformers are there. They wanted to reform into the society. They wanted to oppose something. So all these things are there. Every political, economical, social, religious, and protest kind of grievances are there. Everyone having their own ideology. On that ideologies, the people are attracted and they are following that things. Okay, and the next thing of this particular procedure, they are following that thing somewhere. The second thing, when that radicalist become the radicalist, feeling of negligence. If one committee is good one, other one is not good. Supreme committee, one is a lower one. They are neglected and they wanted to rebel against of that. Or we can say the caste and categories are there. In that also negligence is there. So because of that also, that kind of extreme, we can say, action done by the people. Even the next part, that is alienation. Alienation in that sense far from rest of the society. They are rejected by the society and they are doing the rebel according to their opinion, but that sometime that rebel is against the humanity. And that is one of the reason behind the radicalization. And this is the feeling of negligence, feeling of neglect, alienation and victimization. Some are become the victim of that. Nowadays, in that particular battle, Russia and we can say Ukraine, civilized, or we can see citizens also suffering because of some decisions, right? From both the, we can say, the countries. So that victimization, they become the victim. Might be in future they will rebel, they will protest, they become radicalist, and they will fight against whatever that happening in nowadays. So this can be happen. No, they are suffering because of that. So victimization, alienation, neglect aspect or feeling of negligence, all that things become the part of this particular procedure, and the radicalist, that person become the radicalist. The next one, when the ideologies are there, or if they are neglected from the society, from that they feel a lot and they come to this particular situation, they accept the radicalization, that kind of actions, they accept, they think accordingly, and the radicalization starts. Exploit the situation by propaganda. Propaganda is information. Different kinds of information they are collecting related to that particular group, that particular party, that particular religion, which is giving them the boost to do certain actions. Okay, this is one kind of a third procedure. The next procedure, community encouraged to think of taking revenge and slip into the rules of the terror element. Now, youth is attracted to a political situation. If they are neglected, they are involved in illegal work. And after that, the radicalization procedure is started because of the different information. They are collecting the information from different sources. Now the internet is there, now e-sources are there, social media is there, or other platforms are there. They are collecting that information or the impact of that information on their mind. And even along with that, the community members encouraging them to take a revenge. Now this revenge, and the now in the name of religion, the revenge in the name of social, we can say stratification, in the name of social parties, or we can say the political parties, it is happening. No, community engagement, community encouragement to that particular youth, particular individual, and because of that they are not following legal rules and they goes into the deeper and deeper and deeper towards the terrorism, or we can say towards the extreme actions. So these are the four stages, and the last stage, which is most important, that is youth are pushed to embrace violence and even sacrifice life for the cause of community. Now two things happens. They are accepting violence, means they are accepting death also, and that death, they are accepting death as a sacrification for the community. Means whatever the reasons that is given, boost given by the community members or the leaders, those are those are not good leaders. They are encouraging them to do such kind of activities, and they are involved in that. Now you can see the terrorist attacks on India. Taj Hotel is there, or Bombay, or in others, we can say the parts of India. We are familiar with that. Even at a global level also, we come to know all the reasons behind that, and the youth is utilized by them. Okay, community member encourage them, and they are giving certain kind of, we can say, awards or other kind of, we can say, things to them. So this is one kind of a preaching given by the leaders, those are not a good leaders. And the youth accepting that things, they believe, strongly believe on that particular ideologies, and they sacrifice their life as a cause of that community, whatever the causes behind it. So this is the procedure we have to remember. Now, these are the basic areas in that the radicalization is there. As already I have mentioned, political, economical, social, and religious. These are the four basic, we can say, areas. Along with that, many other sectors are there in that the radicalization procedure is going on. But here, as a time limits, and we have to be go on the further. So these are the four basic areas in that the radicalization is happening. Now, this is the core of our session. Radicalization limits. Now, first and most important factor we have to remember, as per the areas, political, social, economical, we are going to talk about the limits accordingly. Now, in political, this is one of the political radicalization. This, why it is happening? कट्टरता जो बोलते हैं, political, राजनीतिक कट्टरता. Why it is happening? Because of political literacy. Illiteracy, I would say. Illiteracy in that sense, no political theoretical background to them, no practical experiences to them. Whatever the things they are doing for their individual benefits, they are doing. I'm not saying all the leaders, but most of the leaders are there. They are following such kind of things which is not as per the requirement, as per the social needs. Some political literacy required, not in leaders, but the literacy required into the society also. If they will study the politics very well, they can understand what is the mindset of the leaders. They can understand what is the need of nation. They can understand what is the social need. They can realize what are the problems we are facing. So political literacy, it is one of the major thing that is we have the limit, because of that people are involved in that radicalization. If they understand politics very well, they will not involve in such kind of activities. They will following legal procedure. They will following constitution, which is the most prominent, we can say, sacred book for us. So we have to remember that aspect. The second one limit according to the politics, that is community as a vote bank. Now we can see we are having different categories and the representatives from different categories and caste. It is the provision made by the constitution in democratical country. And this is as per the justice, equal justice to all the communities. But the motive behind that particular provision is taken by other ways, and the people become the vote bank to the political parties. And because of that, some insincere agendas given by the political leaders, that is not good agenda, somewhere that is we can say misguiding to the society, or we can say people believe on them, and that agendas only the superficial. They are not working for the progress of the society. They are not working to the development of the society, even not able to solve the problems of the peoples. So community become the vote bank. And if that will be not happening, we can't say that is a radicalization will happen, because the community become the vote bank. In that sense, two communities come in front of both communities stand opposite to each other, and they will fight. The conflict will be there. This is because of that vote banks, community vote banks. So this is one kind of a limitation to the radicalization. Then the next part in the politics, that is unethical political support, which is based on which is not based on political theories, which is not based on ethics and politics. As we can see, definitely we are very ancient history, Chanakya or other, we can say, people given the political thoughts, and that time some which is based on somewhere based on the ethics, somewhere other, even in modern society also some political ethical aspects are there, rules regulations are there, morals are there, but somewhere that is ruined by the people, that is not taken in a proper manner. So unethical practices supporting to the radicalist or the people or the youth, and because of that they involved in that, and they become the extremists, they become the terrorists, they become very vibrant into the society, and they will provide they are spreading the violence into the society, and it is harmful to rest of the society. So unethical political support is one of the limit. Next one, lagging in system or corrupted system. I will not say, I don't want to say the entire system is corrupted, but somewhere the laggings are there, or somewhere the corruption is there, or we can say, somewhere the corruptions are there, or we can say the people not following the system very well. Whatever the rules regulations are there, that is not strictly followed by the system. Somewhere people are saying the system is corrupted. The exceptional people doing such kind of things, but the entire community or entire governance is labeled because of that. So lagging in that system, if will be removed, it will be followed as per the constitution. I think radicalization will not happen. It will limit over there. It will get banned over there. Then misuse of policies. Now we accepted democratical policies. Somewhere autocratical policies are there, somewhere democratical, somewhere communal. All kind of policies are there accepted at a globe level. So we accepted democratical principles. Now equal justice, equal liberty, equal we can say opportunities. All that things are the principles of the democracy. But if that principles not followed by very well by the political background or political leaders or not guided to the society accordingly. And if people also not aware about these aspects, they cannot able to uh, help the governance also. So misuse of these policies by sometimes somewhere freedom given to religious practices. Now it is good to given the freedom to them, but at extreme level, if it will be happen that time, some limitations need to be planned by the society, planned by the governance. And if that given into the constitution, it should be followed accordingly. For example, at a 10 o'clock, we have to be loudspeaker is there. We have to be stop that loudspeaker, close that whatever the event is there. It is one provision made, or we can say policy made by the government. But sometimes in other matters, it is going on because of that policy is not conducted by the people very well, because of some personal reason, because of other laggings in the system, or sometimes people not also listening to the government or officials. So that is also happening. So both the sides we have to think. If these policies are used very well as per the requirement, sometimes the radicalization having get the limit. Then the next part, that is economical radicalization. Inequity, economical inequity, distribution of the money. Now it is now as a democratical principle, as a human values, one of the right we have, that is a own property right, own property right. Okay, we have our own property right and public properties at national level and state level. And even we have the provision by the democratical principle, or we can say policy, that we can keep our own property. So in that own properties also the distribution of that properties up and down. And somewhere people, because of that, the stratification into the society in the three classes: higher class, middle class, lower class. And these three classes is based on the economical conditions. And somewhere one class is opposed to other class because of that economical degradation. So because of the cause behind that, people become extremist. They fight, they raise their voice, and many more things happens in that. So this is one kind of a radicalization. Next one, discrimination among the society, social stratification, which is a social radicalization. Social stratification in society, the society divided into religion, divided into caste, creed, categories are there. And each every category is having, as I told you, everyone having their own beliefs, everyone having their own ideologies. If that is not accepted by other community, or we can say ruined by other community, opposition is there. And that time the radicalization is started. Then the social beliefs and tradition. As I religious beliefs are there, some social beliefs also there, traditions also there. That is also not followed by the people, or we can say followed extremely, that convert into the radicalization. If it will be limited, it will be as per the social norms, which it will be as per the constitutional norms. We can say it will be not the limit. It will be one of the supportive aspect for the development of the nation. Then the narrow view of the religious leaders. Now the preachers, or we can say guide of that particular community religion, if they will lead the society in a proper manner, which is required as a religious leader, and giving the boost to the society to be a good human being, many problems will be solved. This is a one kind of a religious radicalization is there. So we have to think about accordingly. So narrow view of the religious leaders, it will be broader. Definitely they will think the entire community of the human beings, and they will preach that kind of, we can say, things. Then the misinterpretation of religious beliefs and lift over freedom to communal activities. Whatever the beliefs are there, that is misinterpreted. And as terrorism, that is one of the reason behind it. Why it is happening? Because the misinterpretation of the religious belief. They are not thinking it is ruining the humanity. They are just thinking they wanted to be the power of, they wanted to be the supreme power into the on the particular on the globe, on the entire, we can say, universe. They wanted to victory on that. So somewhere misinterpretation of that beliefs is also reason behind the radicalization. If it will be reduced, definitely problem will be solved. Okay, internal crisis, whatever the internal crisis might, that is regional crisis, might be communal crisis, might be religious crisis, might be social crisis, might be economical crisis, might be stratified stratification crisis. All that crisis, if that will be solved systematically, if that will be solved as per the constitutional rules and regulation, radicalization will be limited. Unjustified education system. Nowadays, different kind of every religion having their own schools. Different schools are there. I will not label them. I will not tell the names, but different schools are there. Through that school, it is need to teach the education which will be fulfill the need of individual, which will fulfill the need of the society, which will fulfill the need of the nation. So three major things they have to be remembered. Not other factors should be included in that education system. Though religious schools are there, they should support to the nation. They should help to the development of the nation. This is one of the major thing, and it is not happening because of that radicalization that is going on. So these are the limits. I will just read this list because this list is available on Google. These are the human rights at just as the part of our session. I will, because of the time limit, I will not explain everything. I will just go through it. What are the human rights every individual has? One thing that is a right to life, liberty, security of the person. No one has the right to destroy others' life, right? This is major concern. Everyone have the life, everyone has the right to live life happily. Liberty is there, freedom is there, security of every person. This is the right given by the UN to entire globe. Okay, so all that factors we have to remember. In democracy, that is equal in dignity and justice. Every person should, you have to be give the respect. Though that a person from belongs to different categories, different age group, different, we can say, factors, economical sectors, different stratification in economics, you should give the dignity. Without that, people not get motivated, they will not involved in your activities. And the justice, it is given by the constitution that we have to be accept equal justice. No, in the eye of law, every individual have the right to ask for justice. Okay, so this is one kind of provision by Indian constitution. Then prohibited slavery. This is one of the major concern that is not reflected in India nowadays, or it will be very less. But in when we are talking about the history, back history, the slaves are there, and that is banned by the human rights, under the human rights. Then the subjective torture or cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment given to anyone, it should not be happen. Any subjective, you should be, if you will be the official, you should be objectively treat that particular case. You have to be officially, or we can say objectively look at that particular case and try to solve that problem. No individual interference in that. Okay, and even in religious matters, whatever the justification, whatever the justice you wanted to give, it should not be based on the religious person, that case belongs to a specific religion. It should be based on the constitutional obligations, constitutional rules and regulation, which is based on the objectivity. So this is one kind of a human right also reflected at global level. Then right to seek and to enjoy in other countries. You can go from one place to another place. Even in India, one state to other states, you can go and live. You can even you can do the job in that specific country. So that is human right. No one shall be subject to an arrest, custody and exile. Now this is related to the, we can say, the governance aspect. Subjective arrest, no required. If you have a proper document to arrest that person, then you can arrest. And the treatment to give that particular, we can say, the person or individual, it should be based on objectivity. Freedom of movement, residence within the border. Now this is basic problems raised related to the terrorist attack because of the border lines, or these such kind of we can say happenings are there throughout the world because of the border. Nowadays that the battle is going on, it is a border, and other reasons behind that, the oil reason is there, or natural gas reason is there, and even the communication with the other members are there of the Ukraine, and somewhere the expansion, one of the reason behind that. So many things behind that, but everyone having the freedom, right to do the freedom movements, residence within the border, whatever the border decided to for your nation, you have to be follow. Then leave any country, you can go in other countries, including your own, you can come back to your country. So these provisions given by the human rights. Then the nationality, it is most important right of nationality. You should have that nationality certificate belongs. It talks about your citizenship. Then the men and women equal right as to marriage. Now this is related to marriage. Then own property, as I mentioned you. Then the freedom of thought, ethics, religion. Now everything that is a freedom given by the constitution and in human rights also it is included. But when we are talking about the radical movements, that freedom of thought and ethics and religion interpreted by the leaders, or we can say that religion misinterpret all that things to the youth, and youth are following that thing. So human rights are ruined over there. Then freedom of opinion and expressions. Nowadays, many people, many leaders, political leaders also on stage, on online, on social medias, giving a provoking, we can say such kind of speeches, which is harmful. People become motivated because of their speech and they fight against other communities. So it should not be happen. It is one kind of a radicalist approach. So that is we have the right, but what limits we have to be set. It is the duty of that particular speaker. Then the freedom of peace and assembly and association. You come together, you can be a group, you can assemble together, you can execute any program, but in a peaceful manner, in a constitutional rules and regulation, following the constitutional rules and regulation. Take a part in government of the country. Whatever the government system is there, you are the part of that because you are electing the leaders. That time also, the human rights, you have the rights. Your vote is very important. Then the privacy, this is one of the rights given to the individual. Then the social security, this is one, work to free choice employment. Every time, everywhere you can go and do the employment, do the job. Rest and leisure, this is also one of the right given to you. Right of standard of living, educational right, that is one of the most important factor. In radicalization, if the education given in proper manner, not with the blind beliefs of the religion, definitely the radicalization problem will be solved. But if the some schools or agencies giving such kind of education to the youth, that youth will be destroyed the human values. That should not be happen. So education's role is very important. Then freely to participate in cultural life. This is one of the right. Everyone is entitled to a social and international order and the duties to the community. These are the human rights. It is you will be get all the rights on it. Now, it is mentioned by the sir to me that is teachers from the B.Ed colleges also attending this class or this session. So something, if you will feel in your classrooms, in your school system, someone, or we can say the students doing such kind of activities, how you can identify them. Now, sometimes the psychological problem behind that actions, sometimes the family problems also behind that action. You have to be find out the basic reasons or proper reasons. Or if I am saying these are the, we can say the signs, or we can say these are the some symptoms are there according to that that person is a radicalist. Don't think like this. Otherwise, you will be labeling that person is a radical person. Try to understand the background of that person, and after that, you just contact with the respective authorities, right? So every individual is a different. As we know in psychology, we are learning that things. So how we can identify as a teacher if someone doing such kind of radicalist activities, so that person, that student is cutting ties with friends and family, living alone, not talking with other people, not interacted with other people, or some fear in his mind or something, the actions are abnormal, it is not good. Just think, is that the same? It is the cause of the radicalist aspect or some psychological reasons behind that. You just minutely look all that aspects. Otherwise, you will be labeling that person is a radicalist person. Don't do such kind of things. In our school, the students should be the future good citizens. And it is teachers' duty. They should get that kind of environment, that kind of a guidelines and counseling in our institution. They should be a good citizen. They should be the productive for the society. They should be productive for the nation. So this is one kind of a thing we have to remember. If they will sit alone, they are not talking with each other. And their communication gaps are there. They are even not thinking about the family members, cutting the ties with all the friends and family. That time it is a one kind of a warning sign to you. You have to be asked, is some reason behind in that? If that person is not able to talk, you should help him to communicate. Otherwise, you cannot understand the problem of that. Then the second one, if the individual or that person is starting to support violence, if the violence inside the school, outside the school, and in that particular violence, in that particular actions, if you will be observing that gradually, or we can say again and again repetitively, that person doing violence, breaking the glasses or other things, or we can say wash basin, destroying wash basin, or any other violence is there, fight among the students again and again it happening. You just observe, is anything behind that? We have to be think what are the reasons behind that. Okay, might be family, other reasons are there, not the as we are thinking radical approach, but other reasons also you will be getting because of that. Okay, so start to support if that person is supporting any other violence, might be outside forces also, inside forces also, school system and outside forces. Are they joined in other, we can say violent parties or any other, we can say group or a community which is harmful to the society? This is one kind of a sign that person being a radicalist. Then the second one, being uninterested in activities they previously liked to do. If someone having the interest in other activities and suddenly that cut off that particular activities, not taking the interest in that activities, you have to find out the reasons behind it. What is the reason behind it? What kind of we can say the changes happening in that particular person, because of that his behavior changed. So according to that also you come to know certain reasons behind that. Then the searching extremist material on the computer or phone. Nowadays students are using smartphones and all knowledge, all things on their fingertip. So that time, are they finding such kind of a material related to terrorism, related to any other factors? If they are collecting the material for the knowledge sake, it is okay. But if they are interpret that material for violence, you must think about that. Extremist material, they are checking all that things. Sites also, many sites are there. Some sites providing such kind of a feeding to the youth. So you just cross checked all that thing. It is just searching by them. This is one kind of a thing. Okay, then next one, there's a following or speaking to extremists on social medias. Many times they communication on social platforms, their approach, their interest, that is reflecting through their communication, their chat. So as per that also you come to know the child is going in such kind of a radicalized activities or not. Criminal ek din mein nahi banta hai. Criminal having such kind of a backgrounds. So we must understand what is the background of that particular person. If we are not finding the reasons behind that, we are not able to come to we are not able to understand what are the reasons behind that. So this is one kind of a thing we have to remember. So as a teacher, these are the warning signs. Along with that, many things are there. Align from the society or aligning from the school system, not talking with other friends, or we can say not involving other activities. Many reasons behind that, not only the radical aspects, but you just find it out. Definitely, you can able to solve other problems of that child also. Okay. Now these are the preventions we can take. Addressing radicalization. What is exactly meant by the radicalization? We should talk with the people also. We should talk with the students also. So they come to know these things are harmful to the society. We don't have to follow that. In constitutional level and legal levels, whatever the provisions made by them, we should be acquainted with them. We should address all the things to the students. This is one of the major thing we have to remember. Then countering terrorist propaganda. Whatever the information they are getting related to terrorist aspect, we have to oppose it. Don't
Samadhan sir. Samadhan sir, you are not audible. Hmm. Okay. Just a 1 minute, sir will be joined within a 1 minute.
I'm audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now you are audible.
Yes, yes.
Sir, we have last
5 minutes. 5 minutes only. Yeah, I know. Yes. Yeah, this is the. Just a minute, sir. Is it visible? My slide is.
No, sir.
Just
Sir.
I'll share it again. Sir, just check it. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So addressing radicalization is one of the thing. Then countering terrorist propaganda. Ban whatever the sites are there in your computer lab, in school system. Ban all that site which is providing such kind of information. Then promoting its inclusive society. Now we are in a democratic country, and that one of the value we are preaching to the society, that is respect to all religions, all community members. So this kind of activities we can conduct in our school system also. Then promoting education and human values, as through our education, the productive work, the scientific based work, value based, moral based, spiritual kind of education we have to be spread through the education. Then human values should be involved in curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular activities. So students can follow that things. This is directly, indirectly inculcation of that values. Then boosting research, different kinds of research you can do on this. And what are the we can say impact, or we can say opposite, we can say findings of this particular radicalization. That is also you can reveal to the students. They acquaint with such kind of problems, and they will find the solutions related to that. Then evidence building, it is one of the major concern. That is also one of the prevention. Then monitoring and networking, it is the most important factor, as our security, as our police force is doing at national level, also at state level also. All that things are controlled by them, monitored by them, and this is one kind of a prevention we can carry. Then strengthening international cooperation, it is very important. Otherwise, we cannot able to fulfill our needs also. Somewhere the cooperation is required. If we will be if we will be keeping the conflict among the society and even the different nations, sometimes it is harmful to us also. So that kind of things we can control by the cooperation. Then ban on illegal hate speech. As I mentioned, you many speakers we can say not following the rules and regulation of the whatever this speech they are giving, or we can say whatever the issues they are handling, the way is not based on the legal, we can say, concern. So that kind of things should be banned. Then enhancing the right of and support to victim of terrorism. Those are victim of terrorism. What are the rights they have? We have to enhance, we have to support them to fight against that particular terrorism. Then civil society empowerment programs through different, we can say, the departments in education department, in defense departments, in other sectors also we can implement such kind of empowerment programs. We can keep the awareness among the society. Even the parents will acquaint with that. Is their child is doing such kind of activities or involved in such kind of activities, they will realize that, and definitely they will take care of that particular concern. So this kind of activities we can plan. Then reinforce safety on the internet within our community. As I mentioned you, in school system we can ban such kind of materials. Even in community, whatever the protocols are there, that should be strictly followed related to the radicalization moments. Then help build flexibility and train teachers in conducting difficult conversation. If the child is not able to communicate with you, or not able to, if you're not able to understand the child's behavior, please try to communicate with him. At least you can get the hint what the problem that child is facing. So somewhere the strictness is there, somewhere teacher should be the friend in certain level also. So that time we should be do the conversation with that particular students. Are they doing such kind of activities? Are they involved in that? Just guide them to leave from that particular group and to be a good citizen of the nation. So this is one of the aspect we have to be take care as a teacher. Helps school meet the expectations surrounding the prevent duty as a monitored by nation, which is the requirement of our nation. What is the requirement of nation? According to that, we have to be follow all the we can say rules and regulations, and even plan that such kind of activities in school system. So these are the, we can say, the different preventions related to radicalization, and some references for your study. Thank you so much. I'm very sorry that I think near about 10 to 15 minutes I'm late. Yeah, I took 10 to 15 minutes. Yes, sir, over to you, sir.
Yes, Vibhuti ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for such a knowledge-giving session on limit of radicalization, human rights. Now platform is open for question answer session. If anyone has any queries, you can go ahead, please.
Is there any
If
question?
anyone has any query, yeah, I think there will be no question because sir session itself was a complete package from basic definition and concepts from elements to factors. But still, anyone has any doubt, please go ahead with the question answer session.
Two questions are there. I think one is Vijay. Someone is there. They raise their hands.
Yeah, may I ask?
Yes, Ashish, please ask your question, Ashish.
Sir, I have one question. Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Hello. We had the unfortunate incidents of terrorist attack in Mumbai in 2008. Was it really a radicalization effect, or was it just triggered off by the poverty of that person or a nation?
No, it's a part of radicalization, sir. It is begins because of that. The terrorist attack is not a simple task. At the beginning from the radicalization, and it transferred into the extremist, and that last moment is the terrorist attack. So it is a part of that.
And one another question I'm having, sir, is the word radicalization used in the negative context only, or a radicalization can be good also?
Sometime it is. I can't say it is a negative. Somewhere it is positive also, because it is based on some beliefs. But the execution of that beliefs, if it is in the frame of constitutional obligations, that time we can say it is a positive. Otherwise, it is a negative. If it is ruin the human values, we can't say it is a good. It is a negative.
Yes, sir. Understood. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Vijay Chavan.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir. Recently, we have heard about the radical schools. They are creating these radical people. And yesterday, I also heard about neo-Nazism. And they are also running schools. So, from basic level to international level, I can see such radicalism everywhere. Uh, what do you think about these limits on the boundaries of radicalism?
No, as in the context of India, whatever the constitution provisions are there, we have to be followed. If that is against the Indian constitution, it is a radical school only. It is destroying something. Some we can say beliefs are there which is not useful to the society. So in Indian context, if that radical movements taught through that particular school, I think we have to think about that. And many schools are there in India also, in abroad also. Many schools are, they are giving such kind of a training. As you have seen that Uri film is there. In that they have given that kind of a platform, terrorist attack. They trained people, youth. They utilize that. Right. So such kind of activities, you can see that terrorist behind that some background is there. And then our force worked on it very well and taught them the lesson. This is
Yes, sir.
happening. They are having their own
I
schools.
agree. I agree with you, sir. One more question came again that I can these schools are visible, right? One can see that these people are running such schools, but there are some sectors where I can't see such schools, but still the radicalism is there. For example, economic sector. I can't see such schools where they are running such a radical schools there, but still I can see radicalism there.
Yes, sir. Schools not there, but practitioners are there. They are doing such kind of a things. They are utilizing that extra, that particular radicalizations. It's very somewhere legal ways are there, somewhere illegal ways are there. You can see that is monies are there, people having crore rupees, and when the government officials doing their actions, that time we come to know what is the economical radicalization is there. It is illegal.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, next question from Anitara. Yes, Anita ma'am. Okay.
Okay, I think there is no more question, no, sir. Any
Yes,
hand?
I think that,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, before ending, I just wanted to say thanks to Surendra sir. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk with. This is very good group. And
Thank you so much,
Shinde
sir.
sir.
Very nice session conducted by you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sir, now I would like to I would like to request our professor, Dr. Vikas Chandra sir, kindly extend vote of thanks for today's amazing session. Over to you,
Yes,
Vikas.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute before that, sir. Just I wanted to convey my gratitude towards Sanjay Shinde sir also. He is a coordinator for this particular session and for this entire series. So thank you so much, sir. And even Vikas sir, who communicate with me related to the lecture series. Thank you so much, Vikas sir. And
Yes.
I think Vibhuti ma'am, your comparing is good. You connected very well. Thank you so much. And the entire team of the
Thank
MIT,
you,
I
sir.
think the spirit because of the Surendra Herkal, he's doing good job. And all the participants, thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Yes. Yes,
Actually,
thank you.
thanks to you, Samadhan sir, because you have spent lots of time with us, and we are very lucky that after so long we heard you.
Thank you,
So
sir.
it was really a very beautiful session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. The gratitude is not only the greatest of virtue, but the parent of all the others. Good evening, everyone. It has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful event. I, Dr. Vikas Sundar, on behalf of the MAEER MIT St. Dnyaneshwar B.Ed College, Alandi, Devachi, Pune, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, that is Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh sir. Big thank you to Dr. Samadhan Nikumbh sir for his efforts towards the topic on limits of radicalization and human right. Sir has basically emphasized mainly on the following points. For example, the meaning and definition of radicalization, the elements of radicalization, the procedure of radicalization, the basic areas of radicalization, and a very important point, that is the various limits of the radicalization. For example, political literacy, internal crisis, social beliefs and traditions, misuse of policies, unjustified education system, and economically inequality, and so on. Sir also emphasize on the very important point, that is the warning signs to teachers if someone is being radicalized. And finally, Sir has emphasized on the very important point, that is the radicalization and deprivation. Sir has explained all content matter very nicely. Sir, you have given a very beautiful and effective lecture on an innovative topic. Your lecture have greatly enriched our knowledge. The knowledge you impart will surely be put to good use in our life. All the participants have received positive motivation and inspiration through your lecture. We have all inspired by your great words. Thank you once again, sir, for your wonderful lecture. I would like to propose a vote of thanks to all additional DIGs and police officers. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to our principal, Dr. Herkal sir. Uh, he is the convener of national level lecture series for the. I would like to express my sincere thanks to our coordinator, Assistant Professor Sanjay Shinde sir, for his efforts, to all teaching and non-teaching staff members for their constant support. Last but not least, I would like to propose a vote of thanks to all participants of basically the Department of Defense and Strategic Studies from Savitribai Phule University, Pune, the Department of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Studies, Savitribai Phule University, Pune, the student teacher from MIT St. Dnyaneshwar B.Ed College, Alandi, Devachi, Once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now I hand over to Vibhuti ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Now, at the bottom of my heart, I thank each and everyone who attended this beautiful session and make it a wonderful one. And thank you very much, Samadhan, sir, who guided us so well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, can we have the photograph
Yes,
like
yes, sure.
yesterday?
Sure, sure.
Yes, sir.
Please take a photo.
Kindly, yeah. Please switch on your cameras, all the student teachers of MIT, SDB, and other else.
Can I just say a few
Yes, yes, ma'am,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. Yes, ma'am.
English phonetic session also? I had acquaintance with him, and I would again re-quote my words. तुमचं ऐकून शब्द ऐकून खरंच खूप समाधान झालं आम्हाला सगळ्यांना. So as your name suggests, you have really delivered a beautiful lecture that goes with your name. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Because sir, you took the photo, no? Have
Yes,
you
ma'am.
took the?
Thank you so much,
Okay.
all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Yes, thank you very much,
everyone.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, please
Thank
end
you,
the
sir.
meeting, Vikas sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.